Hello everyone, this is the second part of my presentation. My name is Pwint. So, the question I chose is Is the concept of sustainable development really applicable to the tourism and hospitality industry? When people hear the word tourism and hospitality, most of us usually think about vacation, hospitality, entertainment, luxury hotel, beaches and restaurants, and relaxing experience, right? So, however, behind those positive experience, there's also another side that people do not always think about. So, as tourism continue grow rapidly around the world, it's also create a serious environmental and social challenges. Natural attraction become polluted, local cultures are affected, resources are overused, and many destinations suffer from overcrowding. So today, the tourism and hospitality industry faces the most important challenge. So how can the industry continue growing while still protecting the environment, local community, and future generation? This is where sustainable developments become extremely important. So the answer to the question is yes. Sustainable development is not only applicable to tourism and hospitality, but it's also actually essential for the future survival of the industry. So before explaining much things, I would like to talk about table on the content. The content are what is sustainable development? What are their importance in sustainable development? And what are the three main sustainability in tourism and hospitality? And I will explain what we can be done to sustain the environment, and then I will explain the benefits and the challenge, and then later the conclusions. So let's talk about what is sustainable development. Well, that is simple. Sustainable developments mean we use the resources responsibly today so that the future generation can also meet their needs tomorrow. In simple words, it means improving our lives today without destroying opportunity for people in the future. It focuses on balancing like environmentally, socially, or economically. So let's talk about why it is important. The concept is actually important in tourism because the industry depends heavily on nature, culture, and human interactions. For example, when people travel to beautiful beaches, forests, and tourist attraction places, historical sites, hotel and tourism businesses, they depends on this attraction to attract visitors and to generate income, right? But if this attraction become polluted or damaged, tourism itself will eventually suffer. So this clearly shows why sustainable development is directly connected to tourism and hospitality. So when we are talking about sustainable development, the topic is very broad to talk about everything. So in this topic, I narrow down into three main approaches that we can apply for sustainability in hospitality and tourism industry. So there are three main areas: environmental sustainability, social sustainability, and economic sustainability. So now let's talk about environmental sustainability. Sustainable. Okay, when we talk about sustainability, let's start with environmental sustainability. So environmental sustainability focused on protecting nature and reducing environmental damage caused by tourism activities. The tourism may seem harmless at first, but in reality, it can create large amount of pollution and waste. For example, hotels use huge amount of electricity and water every day. It's not only about hotels. It includes airplanes, transportation, and tourist activities also produce carbon emissions that contribute to climate change. Popular tourist destinations often suffer from plastic pollution, overcrowding, and destruction of wildlife habitat. Because of this problem, many tourism and hospitality business are now trying to become more environmentally friendly. For example, many hotels use the energy saving system, LED lights and solar panels to reduce the electricity consumption. But some hotels encouraged guests to reuse their towels and bed sheets in order to reduce water and energy usage. Many tourism businesses are also trying to reduce plastic waste by replacing plastic bottle and straw that are reusable and biodegradable product. This action may seem small individually, but when many businesses work together, they can create a significant positive impact in the environment. Environmental sustainability is important because tourism depends heavily on a healthy natural attraction. If beach is more polluted, forests are destroyed, or wildlife disappears, tourists may stop visiting those destinations. Yeah, probably. So let's move on to another approach, which is social sustainability. Social sustainability focuses on people and communities that involve in tourism and hospitality. Tourism should not only benefit tourists and large businesses, but also the local communities who are living in tourist destinations. One important part of social sustainability is respecting their culture, their local culture and tradition. So many tourists travel because they want to experience authentic local lifestyle, food, festivals, and traditions. However, if tourism grows irresponsibly, local culture may slowly disappear or become commercialized only for tourist entertainment. So that is why tourism businesses should help preserve and respect local culture instead of damaging it. Another important part of social sustainability is creating jobs, improving people's qualities of life. Tourism creates millions of jobs worldwide in hotels, restaurants, airlines, transport, and tour service, not only hotels. So, the community-based tourism is a good example of social sustainability. In community-based tourism, local people directly participate in tourism activities through homestays, handicrafts, local food business, and guiding service. This alone look at communities to earn income while still protecting their culture and tradition. Um, the social sustainability also include fair wages, equal opportunities, and safe working conditions for employees in the tourism and hospitality industry. Hospitality is the industry built around people and service, so taking care of employees and community is extremely important. So now let's move on to the third area, which is economic sustainability. Economic sustainability focuses on ensuring that tourism and hospitality business can continue growing successfully in their long-term situation without harming society or the environment. Tourism is sorry for the noise. Tourism is one of the world's largest industry and contributes greatly to many countries and economies. For many countries, tourism provides jobs. Tourism provide and support businesses, and they brings international income. However, business should not focus only on short-term profits. Sometimes tourism business overuse their natural resources simply to increase profits quickly, but this can damage destination in the long term. So, sustainable businesses needs to think more carefully about the future. For example, hotels that reduce water and electricity usage, not only to protect the environment, but also reduce operational cost. So businesses that support local products and communities can also improve their reputation and attract responsible travelers. That proves that sustainability is not against business success. In fact, sustainability can actually support long-term profitability and growth. So now I explain three parts of three main areas of sustainability approach with their benefits. So now let's look at some real life example showing how sustainability this development is already being applied in the tourism and hospitality. So I've seen many international hotel companies are already practicing sustainability. For example, Marriott International and Hilton Resorts. They're very focused on reducing carbon emission and conserving natural resources and using more sustainable materials in their hotel operations. There's even a yearly report they how they conserve their energy consumption throughout a year, comparing each year by year. So like that, many hotels now use renewable energy recycling programs and water-saving technology, but some hotels even design buildings using environmental friendly materials and energy efficient system. For example, I heard about Costa Rica. In tourism, Costa Rica national parks are famous for ecotourism and rainforest conservation. The country itself protect their forests and wildlife. So as a result, it can still attract millions of tourists every year. So the country shows that tourism and environmental protection can work together successfully. It's a win-win. Another example is Bhutan. Bhutan controls, I heard that they control the number of tourists entering the country to protect their environment and their natural resources. So these are the examples that clearly show that sustainable development is already being successfully applied in both tourism and hospitality industry around the world. However, despite this positivity, sustainable development still faces several challenges. One major challenge is cost. They are very expensive. They are very expensive to apply the eco-friendly technologies and sustainable designs and systems, especially for starting business or owners or small business, as well as the countries which are developing sales. So some business may want to become more sustainable, but they may not have enough financial independency to fully implement their changes. Another serious problem is over-tourism. Like, over-tourism happens when too many tourists visit one destination at the same time. This can damage the environment, create traffic problems, and increase pollution, and negatively affect the local community. So, because of this point, over tourism is controlled in the Bhutan, and now we got to know why they control the number of tourists to their country, because it is damageable to the environment and their countries, right? So places like beaches, historic sites, and national park are even more dangerous because they are people's tourist favorite, so they can be very overcrowded and they can be damaged because of their activities. Another challenge is greenwashing. Greenwashing happens when companies pretend to environmentally friendly, mainly for marketing purposes, without taking real sustainable action. They lie to the tourists. I don't want to use the word lie to the tourists. It's just, we understand that, we understand that people when they do their business, they want to improve their business and earn more income, right? But it's not, it should not lie to a person if you are not doing in a real life action side. For example, some hotels may advise themselves like green hotel, but in reality they make very few sustainable changes. That's it. In addition, many tourists and business still lack awareness about sustainability and why is it important. This is why education and responsible leadership are extremely important for the future of the tourism and hospitality. As future hospitality professional and leaders, like a person who has green jobs, it is important for us to understand that sustainability is no longer just an option. It is becoming a necessity for the industry. So in the near future, the tourism and hospitality, they should not only focus on luxury and profits and comfort, but also responsibility and long-term thinking. So, if tourism destroys the environment and local community, the industry is eventually set far. If the tourism is not if the tourism is managed responsibly, it can create positive benefits for business, communities, tourists, and future generation. Okay. So now we have to see the overall of the sustainable development concept. So the concept is definitely applicable to the industry because it's help protect the environment, support the local communities and culture, and ensure the long-term success for future generation. So sustainable developments create balance between environmental, social, and economic growth. So the tourism and hospitality industry depends heavily on nature, culture, and people. which is why sustainability is essential for its future survival. So one famous quote is from Robert Swan. He once said, "The greatest threat to our planet is the belief that someone else will save it." This quote reminds us that protecting the future of tourism and hospitality is everyone's responsibility, not only in this industry, but for the world. This is the end of the presentation, and thank you for listening.